going to have Jennifer Litwin in. She is a furniture expert. I found out about her because she's written 2 books. One of them is Best Furniture Buying Tips Ever, and the other one is Furniture Hotspots, and the Bay Area is all over this book. And I figured, hey, we're coming up on Christmas. Let's talk to her about where to get some good deals. A lot of people redecorate around the Christmas time because they want to have parties or their family over, or they're buying it as a gift. So we're going to talk to her. I think she's really going to be interesting. Be there, be square. Right now, Jennifer Litwin is going to join us. She's a consumer advocate for the home furnishing industry. She has 2 books out. One of them, Best Furniture Buying Tips Ever. Big name. And Furniture Hotspots. Jennifer, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, I love both your books.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the Best Furniture Buying Tips Ever. Okay. I love a line like that. Give me the top 3. See?
Okay, the first question is when you go to buy furniture, that you want to ask any retailer is, will they provide you the store's written warranty that goes above and beyond the manufacturers? Today, a lot of the manufacturers won't really stand behind their products. You want to know that that retailer will stand behind you when making any important purchase for your home.
Okay, now let me throw something in there, Jennifer. What a lot of people don't know is a major manufacturer that even has a good warranty, often when they sell to a retailer, the retailer will demand a deeper discount, and they'll say, okay, but we don't warranty it, you do. So that there is no manufacturer's warranty with that item anymore.
Right.
That it's all through the store.
Right, and this is the home furnishings industry is a $71 billion, virtually unregulated industry. There are a lot of scams, and that's why it's really important to have a retailer who will stand behind you. I have found in my own experiences that the local retailers will often do a much better job of standing behind their products, or stores that actually manufacture their own products, like an Ethan Allen, than other what we call lifestyle big chain stores.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And they will also offer usually a 15% lower price tag than a lot of the big chain stores.
How do you get the best... I'm sorry, go right ahead, Jennifer.
No, that's okay.
How do you get the best price?
That's a hard one. Obviously you have to do a lot of shopping online today. You'd be surprised, but many of the large retailers will offer discounts online. I saw Urban Outfitters had 30% off of a lot of the items that you can actually find in the stores online on their website. So it's worth it to do some shopping online. A lot of the wholesale clubs, sometimes they're selling manufacturers' products that are not the best. So you have to be really careful when you shop in places, what I call disposable places. Like that you're actually getting, your comparison shopping and getting quality for quality. A lot of these stores don't have it, but you want to make sure, especially when you're buying an antique, that you're getting a certificate of authenticity, because without one, you have no recourse as well.
Is it worth flying back to North Carolina to buy your furniture?
I wrote a little bit about North Carolina in my book. There was one store that I loved. It's called Furniture Land South. They have a wonderful retail system there. They've got a kiosk. You can put all your own dimensions of your room and your furniture pieces on their website. You can lay out your room that way. It's a great store, but many of the stores in North Carolina have constant sales. They really confuse the consumer, because the consumer thinks they're buying something at a discount when maybe they're buying something that's actually been discontinued, which is another problem that's going on in the home furnishings world, that a lot of furniture that we see in stores is actually discontinued. So another important point to ask is, will this furniture still be available 6 months from purchase date?
Now, why do you care if it's still available? If you have what you want...
Well, for 2 reasons. Number one, you don't want to overpay. You don't want to pay full retail for something that you can get a discount for. And number two, what if that, you buy a couch and the leg breaks and it's a certain kind of a leg? You don't want to come back to that manufacturer, as I once did, and say to them, well, I need to replace this leg. And they say, well, I'm sorry, you're out of luck because we don't make that piece anymore.
Let's talk about antiques for a moment.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I like about buying antiques. Now, and I'm not talking about museum quality antiques. So let's put that off the shelf. But what I like about buying antiques is I see what I'm buying. I can pick it up. I can look at it. And the woods, you can't even get that kind of wood anymore.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's cheaper than often buying new. And yet I have this totally unique piece, and I know exactly what it is. I mean, I drag it out with me right then. Why don't more people shop for antiques? I don't get it.
I think antique shopping is very overwhelming. And let me give you an example. I was in Dallas recently where I went to this very nice French antique store, and the man had no idea who I was because, of course, I go undercover and people have no idea who I am. And I went in and I said, "Oh, I love this cabinet. It's beautiful. Can you tell me something about it?" And he said, "Oh, this came from Napoleon's castle." I said, "Oh, that's so interesting."
No way.
I said, "How do you know that?" He says, "Oh, I just know it because I have my sources. I buy everything in France, and it's all original." And I said, "Oh, that's so interesting." And he said, and also it was engraved. And I said, "Oh, that's great." Well, so I get underneath in this very dusty showroom floor, and I get underneath this piece when he's not looking, and there's, sure enough, there's nothing engraved. Now, if it was a piece that was commissioned by Napoleon, you might see an N for Napoleon, or you might see the names of his architects. So I think that what happens is people are just really afraid that they're going to get burned, they're going to get ripped off. And again, that's why asking for a certificate of authenticity will protect you, because there are a lot of dealers who are not only, basically scamming you, they don't know the right answers themselves. They don't even know what they bought.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that Yahoo in Dallas, I mean, he would have given you a certificate, right? What does he care?
Absolutely not. He said it's $100,000, and he said we've had famous people come in here like Warren Buffett, and I said, well, is Warren Buffett, is he an antiques expert, I know he's a wealthy man, but that's the kind of thing that you can really get, you can get captivated by hearing these stories, and you don't want to have that happen when you go in there. But he wasn't willing to give me a certificate.
He wasn't, huh?
No, and that's often the case.
How about less expensive? Let's talk about Art Deco's going up in price. Those the Jet Age stuff from the 50s and 60s. Still, a lot of that is affordable.
Absolutely. And the best place to buy that is at lots of local auction houses. There are local auction houses all over the country. And I don't mean Sotheby's being a local auction house. I mean, a smaller auction house that carries things that are either mid-century modern. There's a place in Chicago called Wright Gallery. They've got a lot of mid-century modern, and you can kind of hook into some of those places around the country. I list a lot of those stores on my website as well, but you can find a great value in those places, and auctions are still a great way to go, especially if it's a rainy day, if you don't have a lot of people showing up, if it's first thing on a Saturday morning, the time of day, the weather will all affect the sales price.
San Francisco, do we get good deals here? What do you think of the stores?
Well, I think the design district is really a hard place to shop, especially if you're a novice. I mean, I went in undercover, and you'd be surprised how few people were receptive to talking to me. But there are some really interesting stores. If you're talking about antiques, Evelyn's Antiques for Asian furniture is one of my favorite in the country. For an eclectic mix of furniture, both high-end and low-end, Swallowtail in the Russian Hill area is a wonderful store. I like some of the newer retailers. I like Pottery Barn, West Elm, and there's another store called EQ3, which just won my award for one of the best up-and-coming furniture designers in North America.
Really? EQ3?
EQ3.
Oh, good for those guys.
Yeah, well, I like their styles. I think it's a store that's very similar to IKEA in sort of the look and feel of the inventory, but the prices are really good. I found the quality to be fairly decent, and, it's not something that you're necessarily going to pass on to your next generation, but it's a really good style, really nice styles, and I think their product is good for the money.
Let's talk about Pottery Barn for a second. I've got a friend of mine who says she just has her paycheck just sent to Pottery Barn. It speeds things up. And I'm going to tell you, when you go through the catalog or to any of their showrooms, they have cool stuff. I mean, they really, I must be very pedestrian in my taste that such a mass retailer, I go, yeah, I like that.
That's true. They've got a really nice, wide variety of merchandise, yet they keep their look very clean and very simple and very understandable. The other thing that's nice about Pottery Barn is they offer a 1-year written warranty that a lot of their competitors don't offer. So they do stand behind their product, and, they do offer really nice looks. The only thing I would say against them is I bought a desk for my son, and it came in about 50 parts.
Yeah.
And we had to spend 2 days and 2 carpenters putting this thing together. It ended up costing a lot more than the desk itself. That's another point I want to make, is most of the furniture today that you buy is ready to assemble. That means it's, a lot of it's being imported. You have to assemble it yourself. It comes in 50 pieces. You then have to figure out how you're going to do that. That's a problem for people who have got families who work and they don't know how to do this kind of stuff. So you want to ask ahead of time, how many pieces are going to come in that box when it gets to my door? And will you throw in free assembly, or will you assemble it in your store and then deliver it to my house, that kind of thing?
It totally stresses me out. I bought a desk for my daughter, and it starts arriving in a whole bunch of different boxes. So
you can relate to it.
You're just going, I am so bummed. Because, when it's 3 boxes show up, it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not, and it's really unfortunate because most of us can't put this kind of stuff together. A PhD in carpentry to figure out how to put this thing together.
Jennifer Litwin, LITWIN.com. Is that where people can get your books as well?
They can get the books there. They can get it on Amazon. They can get it in all the major bookstores. But I do offer coupons on my website. So if you're a little bit nervous about negotiating for furniture at no profit to myself or to my group, we have gotten we've gotten stores all over the country to offer coupons, and we've posted them on our website.
Oh, where are they at on your website? I'm on it right now. I've just pulled you up here.
So you can go, it's on the top left corner. When you get up to the top left corner and you're looking for Find Furniture Stores, and then underneath it it'll say Select Coupon. And you can, find any store, all these stores across the country in different cities and things like that.
Very cool. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Great job, and I'm really glad you're out there. So much money is spent on furniture, and I'm glad to see that there's a consumer activist like you on top of this. Jennifer Litwin, 2 books, Best Furniture Buying Tips Ever. I love that name. And Furniture Hotspot. San Francisco is pointed out in there. I'm Michael Finney. This is KGO.